Hey everyone, how's it going? This video is going to be talking about the boarding mechanic of Halo Infinite's multiplayer and the two vehicles that you can do this on, so the Scorpion tank and the Wraith. Primarily the reason I wanted to make this video was to talk about, sort of from the driver's perspective, what you can do when an enemy player boards you. I know sort of the first couple times this happened to me, you sort of feel helpless, like there's nothing you can do. They're just sort of like a fly on the back of your neck or something and you can't reach it. But there are some tactics that you can do to actually sort of take care of those players and kill them and get them off your vehicle and things like that. However, we'll also talk about just sort of the boarding mechanic in general and how you do it and how it works and all of that good stuff. So we'll sort of split it up into looking at both the tank and the Wraith and talk about all that good stuff. Yeah. So we'll start with the tank first. However, just quickly covering the mechanics of boarding for those that aren't familiar. So as opposed to shooting at a tank or a Wraith with weapons, you can also run up to it and board it. So there's two different types of attacks you can do when you board a tank or a Wraith, and it depends on whether or not you have grenades in your inventory or not. So since I have grenades, you can see the prompt for plant grenade comes up, and you'll sort of simply just, push a grenade in there and then you'll hop off, it'll explode. It typically will take, you have to do that 2 times and then that'll kill the driver. That sort of gives you the advantage that the tank is still then intact and you can sort of steal it once the driver dies. If you don't have grenades, then you're just going to sort of start punching it and you'll hang on and keep punching it until it explodes. And typically it takes, I think, 8 punches. If the Scorpion is full health, you have to punch it 8 times and then it'll explode. So those are the 2 attacks you can do, and then also it depends where you approach the vehicle from. So if you come at it from the sides or the front, you're going to hop up here on the tank where the sort of driver hatch is. And then if you come at it from the back, you will hang on the back here and you can do the same sort of attack. Alright, so now I am the driver of the tank, and you can see that another player has boarded me. The first thing, and you can see my neon hawk thing coming out of the hatch there. But anyways, the first thing I want to talk about is it can be sort of difficult sometimes to see that you're actually being boarded and notice it. You can see I sort of moved my turret here and it's completely blocking the player. So from this view, I can't even tell that a player has boarded me. However, if you look at the radar, you can see that it's flashing with that yellow light. And that's dependent on whatever you have your enemy player color set as. So mine's set as yellow. If you have it set as red, it would be red. But so if we get off here, you can see I'm no longer being boarded. So now it's just a solid blue circle. And again, that's dependent on whatever your color settings are. Then I get boarded and you can see that flash. So that's a good sort of indicator to let you know that you're being boarded, even if you can't see it or like you're in the middle of a fight, lots of things are going on. It's a quick way to just see that, you have a player on you. Now talking about how to deal with a player who's on the front of your tank. So this can sort of be kind of annoying because it sort of seems like there's not a whole lot you can do. You can't really hit him with your turret. If you shoot straight down, you don't really get the angle to do anything. That's sort of worthless. However, there are a couple tactics you can use to sort of take care of him. The first being the gunner up front. So if you do have a passenger gunner, they have an angle that they can turn around and shoot him. So we'll look at that. However, if you don't have a gunner, you can still sort of become the gunner by, quickly hitting your switch seats button and then sort of doing it yourself. So you can sort of do that, and that actually gives you the windshield wiper medal as well for killing an enemy that's sort of in the middle of a hijack. The other alternative is you can still utilize your turret explosion if you're in a position where you can sort of quickly get next to a wall or a rock or something like that. If you get close enough and then shoot the wall, that'll actually take care of them as well. Now looking at being boarded from the back. So from this angle, you don't have quite as many options, primarily because the gunner is sort of ruled out as an option because you can't shoot back that far. So primarily what you need to do is sort of utilize the wall again. My first sort of thing that I tested was can I just sort of ram a wall, and smash him. But if you look, he just sort of clips into the wall and it doesn't do any damage. So that doesn't do anything, unfortunately. So again, you sort of have to utilize the turret mechanic, but again, you can see that the turret sort of clips into the wall as well. So if I shoot from here, I don't know where it's ending up exploding, but it's not the wall. So you have to be careful that you don't go back too far. So you want to make sure that your turret is still not hitting the wall, or not clipping into the wall, and then firing, and that'll sort of take care of them as well. And then finally, wrapping up the tank, I'll just sort of demonstrate the boarding attacks. So here is using the grenade. Plant that, jump off, and then plant another one. And that'll kill the driver, and then it'll sort of allow you to take the tank for yourself. And then with no grenades in your inventory, that's where you can do the melee. So let's see, it'll probably, yeah. So typically it takes 8 hits with full health, but since we did the grenades previously, a little bit quicker. Now moving on to the Wraith. This is going to be a little bit of a shorter section compared to the tank because unfortunately the Wraith doesn't have quite as many counters to a boarding attack. So starting off, you'll notice that I'm being boarded from the back. And with the Wraith, if you are the person doing the boarding, this is probably the best place you want to do it from because the Wraith can't really do a whole lot about it. As you can tell, the Wraith can't really turn around and like shoot behind it. It can really only shoot straight ahead. So sort of the strategy of sort of backing up against the wall and shooting, turning around and shooting isn't going to work. There's no way to do that. So as far as I can tell, unless somebody, let me know if you have a strategy of how to deal with this, there's really not a whole lot you can do with the Wraith to get a player from the back off of you. That being said, you can still, if they're on the front, you can sort of do this sort of similar strategy of using the turret against the wall. However, another weakness is that you can't switch seats when you're being boarded in the Wraith. So if you can see, the hatch on the Wraith is sort of up front there where the Spartan is right on top of. So I guess he's sort of blocking the hatch opening. That's why it won't let you switch seats. So you can't really jump in the turret or anything like that. So really the only strategy you have with the Wraith is if they are boarding you from the front, you can still sort of utilize this shooting the wall type strategy. All right, so that was sort of the boarding mechanic of Halo Infinite in terms of the tank and the Wraith. Hopefully that'll help you in sort of your next big team battle. If you have the opportunity to either board a tank or a Wraith, or somebody boards you, you'll sort of be better prepared with how to deal with that. So hopefully this video was helpful. Thanks for watching, and we will see you later. Bye.